Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So I am cooking some Chinese right now for the boys for lunch, and I'll stir it around a little bit. And I thought, while I am here and they're not here, like bothering me, you know what I mean? Us moms, we don't get very much time to ourselves, so every time I try to record a video, my little boy's in the background. So I thought, let me come on here and talk to everybody while I got a little bit of free time. So that's what we're going to do. So, I'm going to go and do a live stream in 30 minutes, but I want to talk to you guys and do a little story time. So, hi, my name is Nicole. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. If you know anybody that would benefit from recovery support, let them know about my channel. Share it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you guys want to do. It really helps me out a lot. If you want to know when I'm uploading, check the bell notification and it will let you know each time I upload, so that way you don't miss an upload, because I make videos like 2 or 3 times a day, you guys. So I'm always trying to put out more content and let you guys see what it's like in my life, you know. So, story time. Yesterday I told a story about when I called the police on myself with Chaz and Neil. And that was all fun and games. But until, you know, I look back on it now and I'm like, Nicole, like, you're calling the police on yourself. That was the level of hallucination and just like all right fuckery that I was in. My mind was so, I was just not here, you guys. I was not sane. So, let me think. I think what I want to talk to you guys about today is I want to give you a look into my childhood as a young girl. Okay? So when I was growing up, I am the oldest of 2 girls. My mom is Mexican, my dad's Italian. I was born in New York. The way my mom tells the story about when I was born is she says that it was like a blizzard in New York. Like it was, I mean, just raining cats and dogs, not raining, snowing cats and dogs. And they went up to the hospital and my mom gave birth to me at 9 p.m. So, but it was so cold and snowy. And my birthday is in March. So, growing up, we moved to Arkansas. And I grew up in a small town called Hot Springs. Well, it's not really that small anymore, but whenever I was growing up, it was just a tight-knit community. Like, everybody knew everybody, you know? So, I went to this school called Lake Hamilton. Oh, you guys, probably one of the best schools in the state. And me and my sisters, we all went there. But growing up, when I was younger, my dad was always a hard worker. My dad's a big Italian dude. He don't play games. He don't understand the disease of addiction. You know, all my life when I, you know, would be in my addiction, he would always ask me, why can't you just quit? Why can't you just quit? And I could never answer that question for him until now. You know, now when my dad asks me about my past, I tell him that my mental obsession was so strong and that it was a mental obsession, a disease of my mind. And then my body got hooked because of the opiates. But growing up, my parents worked hella hard to give me and my sisters everything we wanted, you guys. Like I said, I'm the oldest. I have 2 little sisters, Michelle and Christine. And we were so close. Like, we had each other's backs no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, growing up through high school, we would fight people for each other. Because, of course, we had big mouths. And we would get ourselves into altercations, you know? My mom and dad always taught us to keep our finances in line and to not ruin our credit. You know, my dad worked really hard to provide for my family and to give me and my sisters nice things, you know. Growing up, I can remember, like, Christmas time, my dad would just buy us so many toys and so many toys. And then what happened is he didn't understand that, you know, growing up, you know, you see a toy, you like it, and then you'll forget all about it. And so for the longest time, my dad would overdo it at Christmas, and then he started to learn, just like I've learned. Like, I'm making the same mistakes my dad made with me, with my son. Like, you could go get a toy out of the dumpster that was used, and Nate would still like it just as much as he would a brand new toy. You know what I mean? So my dad was always like buying us stuff, and it was because he was at work a lot. And I feel like because he was at work a lot that he felt guilty, and he was trying to overcompensate by, you know, giving me and my sisters everything we wanted. Now, don't get me wrong, we weren't spoiled. Like, we got in trouble, we got our butts beat with the belt. Like, I can remember one time me and my sister Michelle, we put this Chucky doll, like it looked just like Chucky, you guys, up in my sister Christine's closet. And she went into her room to open her closet, and the Chucky doll came down, ah! And it scared her so bad. Me and my sister Michelle got grounded, like, to our rooms. My room was over here, and Michelle and Christine's room was over here, and me and my sister had to stay in our rooms. We were literally flying kites to each other, sliding notes across the hallway to talk to each other, because we were such close. We were all so close. I mean, my sisters, I would do anything for them. I would die for my sisters, you know, like, those are that's my family, man. That's my family. That's how I was raised up, you know. Family takes care of family. Family has family's back. It doesn't matter if my sister's wrong. It doesn't matter if she stole your man and you're mad. I'm going to stick up for my sister. I don't care. Like, I'll never betray my sisters. So growing up, we were all just so tight, you know. And that's something that now I look back on it and I think that I attributed to my sister's drug addiction, because my sister Michelle is an addict too. And when I would go out and hang out with all these older people, my sister would tag along with me everywhere I went. One time we were at this big party, and I haven't told you guys about this part of my life yet, because it's totally different. This is like the beginning, when I was like 17, 18, 19, 20. I used to party with this guy named Andy. He's big hippie. Had a trailer out in the middle of nowhere. And me and Robert and Sean and Will and William and all of the Orange Street gangsters is what we called ourselves, because they lived on Orange Street. We would all go out and smoke pot all night and trip acid at this guy Andy's house, right? So I would be out there, and of course my sister would want to come, and my mom wouldn't let me go unless I took my sister with me. Like, that's how I was allowed to go do stuff, because I had to take Michelle with me, because she always wanted to be around me. So I would go and take Michelle with me, and that girl, I'd be smoking and she'd be underneath, because I would tell her she can't do it, you know, like, you're not, do as I say, not as I do, you know. And I would catch her underneath the kitchen table, having them pass her the blunt. And so my sister always was doing what I was doing. Like, if I was doing drugs, she was doing drugs. And that's kind of how, when we got into shooting up, that's kind of how that all began. We started doing meth, and I started shooting up, and then she started shooting up. And it was just like a downward spiral together, you know. And I look back on that, and I feel so guilty for introducing my sister to that lifestyle. Like, I feel partly responsible, you know. But I know I can't blame myself, because a lot of people say, you know, well, if she didn't do it with you, she would have done it with somebody else. And that might have been true. But my job as her older sister, I was supposed to protect her, and I didn't, you know. And I feel so guilty about that, you guys. So guilty. But that's life, you know. Now she's sober and doing good, and she owns a car lot. Her and her boyfriend own a used car dealer, and he's a mechanic, and they're living their best life, you know. But for the longest time, I felt really guilty about that. So, like I said, growing up, we were inseparable, and then, you know, the longer my life went on, the more drugs we used, the farther apart we got. And then I got sober, and she got sober about a year after I got sober. So she's been sober for 2 years, and I've been sober for 3 years. But we're just a really tight-knit Mexican-Italian family, you know? And I love my parents, and I'm so, like, I couldn't get on here and tell you guys, like, my parents were bad parents, that's why I became a drug addict. Like, it wasn't even about that. Like, there was something inside of me that I was born with, this lack of self-esteem, this lack of self-love that played into my addiction. You know, it had nothing to do with the way I was raised or my family. If anything, I mean, my mom raised me up very, very religious. We grew up in the Pentecostal church where we couldn't cut our hair or wear pants. We had to wear dresses until I was about, that's hot, until I was about 14 years old. And then we were allowed to kind of pick our own way. And that's when we traded over to non-denominational, which was like First Assembly of God Church. Whoo, that's hot. You see that steam, y'all? But there was nothing that I could say that contributed to my addiction. It was all some things happening all at the right time. Like, my sister was going through a really hard time with her mental health. My sister is bipolar, by the way, manic depressive, antisocial personality disorder. And she's so mentally ill in that sense that she actually gets a check from the state, disability check for it. So it's not like, I know there's not like, what I mean is it inhibits her ability to work. So that's why they own their own business, so she can work for herself. But when my sister was little, she went through a really hard time with her mental health. And my parents, bless their hearts, you know, they did the best they could. But while they were busy dealing with my sister, I was over running off the deep end. You know, I was over here sneaking out, getting high, having sex with dudes that I shouldn't be cheating on my boyfriend with, and just all kinds of different stuff like that. So there was no one thing that like pushed me over the edge, you know. When I started obtaining prescriptions from the doctor, that really had a lot to do with it too, because then I could get my prescriptions, then I had more access to, you know, pills. But that didn't last but maybe 5 years that my prescriptions, then he cut me off. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. That's a little insight of how it was like when I was younger. And tomorrow I'll tell you guys some stories about me and my sister growing up. Alright guys, bye.